today's actual Vesak day, full moon. See, this is the real Buddha's Enlightenment day. You look at the Tibetan calendar, it would say next month, but it's not correct. You see, this is the correct one. Very interesting, the calendar. They say this Tibetan calendar made a mistake several centuries ago. There was some mistake happened, and then they keep on, not correcting that mistake. And then, historically speaking, Tibetan scholars arrogantly say that the actual Vesak day that Theravadins, others assert is wrong. They keep on saying, Tibetan. Then finally found out that the Tibetans were wrong. Actually, they finally made a mistake like that. Yeah, Buddha had become enlightened in this day. Buddha became enlightened on this day, and then also believe is Buddha also went into parinirvana, mahaparinirvana on the same day. And then some say, which probably is not true, is that Buddha was born in this day too. But this is not commonly accepted. Commonly accepted birthday is half moon, which happened like 7-8 days ago, I believe the Buddha actually was born that day. And then enlightenment actually happened on this day. Very unique day. Stars were all aligned. One scholar, Buddhist scholar, did a thorough research about these different things. And then he could pinpoint that a very unique stars are aligned on that precise day, which is not happening. He could calculate back all the way back to 8,000 year history. There's only a single moment like that. And he could say the exact precise moment when Buddha actually demonstrated perfection under the Bodhi tree 2,600 years ago. This day, 4:45 a.m. In a precise moment, the time changed, and he predicted that's the time when Buddha actually fully awakened. Awakening can have several levels. You can have several levels. So Buddha awakening and Buddhahood is complete awakening, total awakening. Perfection, You see, if anybody can imagine perfection, that's what it was. But actually, as far as imagination is concerned, it's beyond the realm of conceptual imagination. Conceptual imagination all has limitation. You cannot imagine. Impossible to imagine perfection. You will only understand this when you attain yourself Buddhahood. When you yourself become perfect, only then you understand what this really means. Good news is we're all going to be future Buddha. Because the seed is planted already, see? So, now the idea is, let it happen sooner rather than later. That's the thing, right? And initial hurdle is karmic obscuration, karma. That's the one thing that, you have to do all you can to try and purify that karma. Otherwise, you're stuck here. Birth, old age, illness, and death without a choice is not a good idea, Even you continue to be born as a human birth. You look, go through childhood, go through. Nothing is easy, In my case, I had a very good Tibetan parents. They were very wealthy. But my karma is to be monk in the monastery. In the monastery, a very hard life, tough life. like that, and nothing is easy, and that's kind of like a price that I had to pay to be around an enlightened guru, you know. It's a little bit like Milarepa type of thing. But my point is, like, even I had a basically decent life as a child and compared to many, many other beings, but it's still tough, you know. So much difficulties. And so point is to, you know, just that you're not stuck here karmically without a choice. Because you can do something about the karma thing, see? You know, you could purify the karma. That's the good news, you know. There's a Tibetan saying, if there is any virtuous quality in negativity, negative karma, you can say sin, negative karma. If there's anything positive about that, then it is that it can be purified. See, we say like that. Well, karma, all these things, it can be purified. That's the first thing that is. Once you're free from karma, then you're free from samsara. You haven't achieved you haven't perfected it yet, but you're free from samsara. That's the thing, you know. Yeah, so idea is try and make progress as much as you can. You know, initially, what can you do? You have a limitation, even though you believe in Dharma, you believe in Buddha and pure path, pure Dharma, you can still, only choice you have is still follow it conceptually. You know, from the point of view of positive, negative, right, wrong, good experience, bad experience, you know, pain, suffering versus joy and happiness, you know, only within this is part of, you know, ordinary limitation. And that's why the world, you know, that we live in is called relative world in Buddhism. Conventional world, you know, something that we all have to experience together. We all have to respect this laws of nature together, whatever, you know. And then for us, at least thanks to Buddha demonstrated perfection, you know, under the Bodhi tree and taught perfect teaching. So we have now this precious teaching, you know, and we don't have to be lost. We don't have to be like, you know, I don't know what to do. You know, we know what to do now. You see? Yeah. So, yeah, you see, the way the karma works is infinite karma. You know why infinite karma? Because we have been living forever. You know, from Buddhist understanding, reality is beginningless, endless. You know, we have always been, we are, we will always be. Only question is, how do you want to exist continuously? Yeah. And the Buddha's teaching is very clear, very simple, very clear. See, I mentioned to you this before, but I'll mention again, and that is, you know, people usually ask the questions like, can you summarize Buddhist teaching, you know, in nutshell? Okay, in just one or two sentences, I shall say that it is Buddha's all teaching in nutshell is there is enlightened way to exist. There doesn't have to be this, you know. Then detailed teaching, then a lot of detailed teaching, right? Like that. So my point is, you see, we have always been, we're not going to disappear away. There's continuity of our experience. At this point, it's a human experience, continuity. Luckily, human experience for us, you see. And then where we have discerning ability to tell right, wrong, good, bad, positive, negative, killing is wrong, saving life is right, practicing generosity is right, ripping off people is wrong. You know, we have this ability to understand all these, right? You see? Like that, you know? And this is where you start. This is where the morality is all about. That's foundation. You have to have that straight first. And then on that basis, then you can generate all kinds of virtuous, true, pure spiritual quality. Without that foundation, without that basic morality, moral and ethical principle, you cannot have any positive quality. Not possible. You have to have that first down, Yeah. And the reason is, if you don't have that correctly, you messed up. You not only hurt others, but you hurt yourself. That's the thing, Yeah. Negativity. Avoid negative action. Basically, avoid action that would hurt you and other. One example of hurt action that which hurt you is like, alcoholic. How do you say, becoming alcoholic, drug addict, all this is how, you thought it was entertaining, but ended up hurting yourself, and you could kill yourself. See? Hurting yourself. And then hurting others is very simple, and then that's the foundation, that you have to recognize correctly what is hurtful, harmful to yourself. Don't do. Like that, right? And then spiritual, virtuous and spiritual practices, Nyungne. I say everybody should do Nyungne. If the world were to do Nyungne, 8 billion people do Nyungne, our planet Earth will experience peace and harmony for a long period of time. You see, this is where it comes. Like that, okay? Then ultimately, this is process, and if you purify the karma, then you're okay, Even you're stuck here in samsara temporarily, but the power of negative karma will be minimum, so therefore you wouldn't be dragged down by that. Yeah. Usually how the karmic law works, meaning, cause-effect law work, is whatever is the most strongest karma you have, that manifests. That's the dominant karma. And that doesn't mean that you don't have good karma in your karmic savings, okay? But the strongest karma was some unfortunate karma that you had, and then it might pull you all the way down to hell, and you're like hell being. Not that you don't have any good karma, but that was the strongest one, and you got down hell. On the contrary, if you have some, virtuous karma, good karma deed, and then that's the dominant karma, then you experience that first. But that doesn't mean you don't have bad karma in your savings either. You see? Yeah. So actually, if you understand law of karma and you're very careful of the karma, continuously, you might be okay in the world of samsara. But birth, old, illness, and death continues. Very, very difficult. It's not the wisest way to be. If you ever want to be here in this world of samsara, come here with a choice to help other sentient beings. Enlightenedly, so to speak, that you yourself not karmically stuck here. You're here to help other and so on, but you're not karmically stuck here, Once you're an enlightened, you can come with choice, you see. This is where like my enlightened guru and Karmapas and Taisidarum is here. They really are here. They're an enlightened being, chose to come here and help us. It's like that, That's the only correct way to be. Yeah. So in order to be like that, you have to understand the truth. You see, that's the thing. Yeah, truth here means you have to understand yourself. Your own mind. And when said, right? Okay, like that. Only then puzzle is solved. See, And so in order for that to happen, you see, like Mahamudra teaching says, and all these other so many prayer and all these things says, it's the grasping that you have to finally know how to let it go. You see? Yeah. So to become an enlightened, so you really have to know how to let it go completely. In your deep meditation, this is how it works. You have to know how to meditate and go deep inside, and then have to know how to let it totally go, completely. Yeah. Like that. There's a way of training. You can train again and again and again. And then if it's difficult, then you have to do a lot of purification practice first. Yeah, you need power of purification and power of virtue, virtuous deed, meritorious deed. Those two will help you, help you break through your ability to let go. Yeah, from all these. You see, Mahamudra prayer says conceptual fabrication. So you have the courage and will and courage and enough blessing to let it go. Let it go from your own self-grasping. Yeah, that's the hardest one, actually. Yeah. And whoever can let it go is an enlightened being. Simple as that. See? Yeah. Like that. Okay? Yeah. Okay.
Coming back to Nyungne and purifying karma, am I correct that the biggest stuff, the worst stuff, gets cleaned up first, and it gets more and more subtle?
That's right. That's right.
Why your first Nyungne is to be held.
That's right. Nyungne, yeah. Yeah. Nyungne is amazing, huh? Yeah, I'm a now Nyungne guru. I come from a golden teaching lineage, and Karmapa's this Mahamudra lineage, that's my real lineage. But I ended up becoming a Nyungne guru because I'm Buddhist teacher, and I'm trying to, what is Buddhist teacher like myself? What's our job? Our job is to practice Dharma generosity. Okay? Dharma gift for people as most precious. So I've been Buddhist teacher since 19 years old, actually. Yeah. So then at some point, like almost 25, 30 years ago, some point when I was thinking like Nyungne thing, I just realized this is the best gift I can give. Whoever does one Nyungne, it's that benefit is theirs forever, So that's the best I can then. That's one of the reasons why I'm willing to do hundreds of thousands of Nyungne. I tell myself, okay, it's hard, but I will lead. I will give people an opportunity and practice myself, and then give everybody an opportunity, Many teachers, no disrespect to anybody, many teachers don't like to do Nyungne because you have to fast, they don't like that, right? But I tell myself, okay, I'm willing to do this, help people and so on. So, one Nyungne, tonight we have some new students, one Nyungne, purification, power of purification, so much so, the karma is thoroughly cleansed, and it's been said, you will never fall from human birth. Even you're stuck here in the world of samsara for many, many lifetimes, you will always have human birth. That's how beautiful and, blessing there is. Dharma blessing, I'm like, where are you going to find so much blessing like that? Nowhere. Except in true Dharma like this, see? Yeah. Purify, purify, purify. Incidental stain and confusion. So what need to be purified are the incidental stain and confusion. Meaning, all beings' true nature is Buddha, yet not realizing it. As you see, Mahamudra. But it's as a stain, though, incidental stain and confusion, obscuration. Yeah. This particular actually saying, quote, comes from a Tantra, Buddha's teaching, a Tantric doctrine. I think it comes from Hevajra Tantra. The Karmapas one, kind of like quote from there. Incidental stain and confusion. The word is called incidental stain. And it's explained like this, Buddha nature, pure Buddha nature, covered, The cover is incidental stain. So incidental stain here is the kind of like the original ignorant. Yeah. So explanation is something like this, the Buddha nature, beautiful, perfect Buddha nature is incidentally covered. Okay? So now the explanation is that it does not incidentally cover all of a sudden first, then something secondary after karma sound. Actually, this is a very difficult one. For this to understand, you have to understand how the mind really is, mind's nature is, in order to understand how the whole confusion has happened. If you don't understand how the mind's nature is, it's a little difficult to understand. Yeah. I actually mentioned this several times, that the actual Buddha nature, the Buddha mind is, it's called Co-Emergent wisdom, that's innate in our own nature mind, right? But then it's again from Tantric teaching that co-emergent wisdom and co-emergent ignorance is kind of simultaneous. That's the kind of, paradox type of thing. You will only understand this if you understand how your mind is, Mind, the nature of mind truly is. Then you understand awakening and confusion both can simultaneously exist. Yeah. So incidental stain from that point of view. So that incidental stain, confusion, obscuration, and defilements, veils, obscurations, defilement, all remove, then co-emergent wisdom manifests. That's your Buddha mind. Yeah. See? So the point is like Nyungne, so practice, purify. Then mind becomes pure. Yeah, no more obscurations, defilement, Yeah. And the ultimate good news is once it's purified, once it's awakened, you will never be confused again. That's the ultimate good news, Once you're fully awakened being, you will never become ignorant being again. See? Like that. Yeah. Then you can perfectly, beautifully exist. You don't have to exist confused, lost, pain, suffering, so much fear, insecurity, just to survive. Oh, it's completely unnecessary stuff. Yeah. Okay, I think that's good enough for today.